Hi, this is April Bebee, and we are in the second part of Cocktails and Conversation, and we're discussing the Iraqi Dinar investment with Mr.
I am Mr. Brando.
Such a hot mess. And so we decided to do a two-part video because we got a little lengthy in the last video and we still had questions to be answered.
And I think we ought to give to our viewers that, like, the whole investment properties, the idea is, like, there are so many, like, things that people are slaves to right now. I think they're slaves to their mentality. I think they're slaves to their investments. I think they're slaves to their technologies. I just think that opening your mind to different things just helps. You know what I'm saying? So it's good. It's good just to hear different mentalities about things. So
we're not going to go off mark, and we're going to stay to the IQD, the Iraqi Dinar. And to help the beginners understand, Mr. Brando, why will the Iraqi Dinar be reinstated or revalued?
Well, because they have an undervalued currency, they got to get back on the international stage because the world can't treat them as a rentiers type economy forever. They should be a donor economy. And so, like, even they know that after a while, they have to get back on the international stage. They have a choice. Oil, you want to play in oil, you want to play in precious metals, you want to play in, you know, all these different fields, but you can't be isolated and undervalued to do so. Big boys want to play with big boys.
Okay.
Or big girls, for that matter. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. So, explain to the beginner dinarian, what is a lop? What is a lop, a L-O-P?
A lop means that you take whatever currency you have and replace it with a different currency. Not of the same currency. So if I have a $100 million currency, I replace it with $1 million currency, that's a lop. And I have no reason for it. It doesn't mean that the $100 million is worth any less. It just means it's going to take you longer to trade your currency in to revalue it towards another one. That's why a lop isn't necessarily a bad thing. It just means to get your money out of it's going to take a lot longer. A lop to a new currency holder is kind of like saying cancer. Once you get a lop, you're done. There's no more money anywhere. It's not true. Okay. It just means like Zimbabwe probably will lop in 12 months. They're not going to reinstate back to the Zimbabwe of old. They're going to lop it because they just can't find that happy medium. And they're trying to deal with hyperinflation and some other geopolitical things like some, you know, their politics, their president, their finance ministers, they're dealing with things that affect the currency. They just really do. We talked about that other thing. What affects the stock exchange? You know, a political mind is the reason why our stock exchanges are going up and down. It just is. Mm-hmm. It's part of it.
Okay. So why do you feel that the Iraqi dinar will not lop? In your opinion, this is just Mr. Brando's opinion.
Well, we talked about this, like, you know, a few times. So, like, you've got precious metals, you've got oil, you've got tourism, you've got enough things to sustain a private market or, you know, an open market society that it doesn't have to lop. It could go into a whole bunch of things. But they've got to stimulate the private sector. They've got to seat some GOI people. They've got to adopt a few more laws or implement them. And then they can, you know, go forward. But it doesn't mean for any minute that they're going to lop. It just means it may take them, if not this month, they probably, if they don't get granted their, you know, their whole stay on that 90-day sanctions, if they don't this month, it's going to be very difficult to see when it's going to happen, but it's going to happen soon because for every day that Iran is isolated and for every day that Jordan opens up more stuff and for every day that Israel opens up more stuff and these people give them money, they're going to want to see them on the international stage.
Okay. And you may not have the answer to this, but what happened to Iraq that the current price is so low and the IQD isn't offered in U.S. banks?
Well, because they got put under sanctions when Junior invaded the country. And
Junior?
Yeah, Bush Jr. They invaded the country and they put the country under sanctions.
So you're saying when, not Papa Bush, but W.
Desert Storm. Yeah, Desert
Storm was under Papa Bush.
So Operation, whatever it was under Junior, went in there and said, you know, we're going to go in there. That's why they loaded up, you know, 747s worth of, you know, it was a big thing, but They loaded up 747 worth of dollars and implemented that country. Once they got Saddam Hussein ousted, it was, you know, it was a matter of time before they circumvented the government. The only way you can actually bring down a government is two ways: a coup or to cripple them economically. And that's what the government did. They did both. They got a coup in there. They got Maliki in there, who they thought was a friend of the U.S., and they crippled them economically. So when they imposed those sanctions, they artificially suppressed the rate to help them out to get under a new regime. And it took a long time under, you know, they got Maliki in there and then Dr. Shabibi and all this other stuff. But honestly, because of their involvement in terrorism and their internal conflicts and their sectarian blocks and all this other stuff, they were unable to really realize what the real value of their currency was until now, I think, you know. My own opinion.
And that's why you think that also answers the question as to why the Iraqi dinar isn't offered in banks, correct? Okay. I just want to make sure we...
Yeah, because it's not a stable currency to be held in banks.
Okay. So, why are you a big supporter of the Iraqi currency more than other nations?
Because they work with the IMF, the U.S. government. Look at SIGIR reports. Look at the BTI reports. Iraq has worked very hard at keeping themselves abreast of world economics and where they need to be. And so I'm a big fan of theirs. Like, I just think that they're on the cusp of greatness. Now, everybody's going to argue, you know, they're lazy. They don't want to do this, don't do that. But I think they do. It's just that corruption, you know, even on a level of like Iraq, think of it as minor corruption. Like, they're still on a micro level, right? Like, they're still in dollars, they're still in this. Think of corruption on a big level like the United States or Brexit or something like that, where people comment on the elites and this, the cabal, and they're minor leagues compared to the big leagues. You know what I'm saying? So it can be fixed.
Now, I'm playing devil's advocate.
Okay.
Can you explain what Brexit is?
Brexit? So Brexit is like the whole France and Germany and England, all these people formed a union. And they said, we're going to couple our dollars to something called the euro. We're not going to ban our own domestic currencies, but we're going to base it upon something else. And like, you know, like England basically said, to hell with Brexit. It's about the elites. It's about a new world order. And that new world order is for shit for people like you and I. And we're tired of it. We want our, that's why there will never be a worldwide collapse, because there's too much entrepreneurship out there. There's too much, my currency's worth something and your currency's not. Like, it's like this. Why do some people live in $1 million house and some people live in a hovel?
Right.
It doesn't mean that they want to or have to. It just means you do what you do.
Right.
That's why Brexit's failing.
Now, this next question, we do not endorse this company, but I'm going to ask the question because it's been asked of us. What is your favorite place, or where do you like to buy your Iraqi dinar?
Instantly? Moral City Mall. I'm instant gratification. So I know that was not the answer you're looking for, but my whole idea was with you was like, let's just go to the mall, buy this currency, and come out.
Right, right.
But like my favorite place to buy it in bulk, so I don't want people to know what I have, is on Exchange of America.
Okay.
They treat me good. I have a good account with them, and they've never done me wrong. They were hyped up currency. They've sent me letters telling me things that, you know, other currency people didn't. I've worked with Safe Dinar and other people, but they're one of my favorite online companies in the world. Okay.
Now, so some of these questions I've kind of received from
viewers.
People that are new to investing in Iraqi dinar, and I'll leave those people nameless, but you can figure out who I'm on the phone with most of the time. And so the question is, where can I find credible news sources for the RV or the RI of the Iraqi dinar?
On Mr. Brando on YouTube. I'm not even going to lie to y'all. I've been involved in this investment since 2009. When you and I were involved in it, and you were helping me when I hid my currency from myself in 2010, 11, I was telling you, this is going to be worth something one day. Who knew 8 years ago that we'd be here today? So, like, I've listened to all these other gurus, these con artists, these charlatans, these snake oil salesmen. I bought every bill of goods possible. I listened to all these people. And the thing that I never really liked was they were not transparent. And that's why on Mr. Brando, I like really bring the real to the Iraqi Dinar. I put myself out there. I put you out there. I mean, you were the one who told me, let's do pre-recorded stuff. And I was like, no. I want people to talk to me. I want to be involved. I want to be out there. And I think that, you know, if you're going to be like someone that's invested in something, stand up for the brand. Like, I'm not endorsing the dinar. I'm not denying it. But I'm just saying that I hold currency and I believe in it, and this is why. And I'm not afraid to put myself out there to do it. And that's why a lot of these gurus, they may have more viewers than I do. Or they may not have viewers. They have more subs than I do. But they don't have the heart and soul of what the investment's about, which is the people. And I have that. I know I have that. I got people from Malaysia to England to Australia. You can take the YouTube analytics. You can take the Facebook analytics. People want to know what they don't understand. And a lot of these gurus don't explain anything for anything.
Well, I'll agree with you because new to this investment, you recommended a couple of people. One of the individuals
that I followed.
Yeah. And one of the individuals, I asked the question and they shut me down.
Right. Now that same YouTuber is stealing my stuff off my channel. And no. They're following me because be real about it. I'm going to be real for a second. People want to know what's real, right? I told you follow this person, right?
Well, here's the thing. Let me say this.
But hold on.
No. You told me to follow that person, but here's the thing.
Right?
I'm taking my hard-earned money.
Right?
I want to know where it's going. I'm going to do my research. Like when you told me about two things at that breakfast. Do you remember? It was Cryptos and Iraqi Dinar.
Yep.
I went into Cryptos first.
Right.
Head first. Researched it.
You found that more tangible an occurrence that said was a tenth of a penny.
Very much so.
Right.
Very much so. Then, after I got stable or the market tanked with the Cryptos.
But I told you.
But before
invest a bit in this. But put all your money into this. Didn't I tell you that?
So, we're talking about 2017, right?
No, 2016.
No, 2017. That's when I purchased my first crypto.
16.
Summer of 27, because we had just had Harvey. Coming out of Harvey.
Yeah, you were heavy in the Chevy with it. You were like,
and guess what I did? Guess what I did coming out of Harvey?
What?
I bought Iraqi Dinar. It took me a minute, though. He told me, Mr. Brando told me about two investments, right? One was Cryptos. I already knew about Cryptos, but hearing it out of his mouth, that made me, I'm like, okay, let me get on this Bitcoin train, right? So I started doing my research, got hot and heavy in it. I mean, followed every single cryptocurrency person on YouTube. Read white papers, all that. Litecoin, that's my coin. And a few others, right? Ripple, I'm here for it. So I invested in that. I heard him on Iraqi Dinar, but my mindset said crypto. So from that summer on till after the hurricane in September, I was crypto, throwing racks at it. Come out of the hurricane, I'm like, okay, I'm in a good place. I'm all right. I'm not throwing no more money at Cryptos. I heard what he said. I circled back. Didn't fully understand Iraq. I did it on the strength of Mr. Brando. Didn't fully understand because I was more heavily involved in Cryptos than anything. So I was like, you know what? I don't have time to study this. Throw a couple of C notes at it and see what happens. I mean, you know, I could spend $100 eating out at a nice restaurant. So I'm like, you know what? I'll go ahead. I'll do this because he's passionate about it. The level he would explain things to me, I'm like, wow, he knows what he's talking about. And I remember back to 2013, 14, looking for those currencies and how feverish you were about finding them. And I'm just like, oh my God, we're looking for some stupid notes. That's how I felt about it. So his level of passion for IQD was my level of passion for crypto.
Oh, way worse. You were way more versed in Cryptos. And I guess...
I started making crypto friends, right?
Being up all night chatting on crypto.
Me and Kevin.
Yeah, Kevin Wealthy.
Yes.
Shout out to Kevin.
We met over crypto.
I made a lot of friends from like 2015 to 2018 that I think goes beyond currency. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Liz, Elizabeth. Shout out to Daza. Mm-hmm. Shout out to Dennis. Shout out to John and Tina.
That whole family.
And even though we fight like brothers and sisters about certain things, we don't all agree.
Right.
We all agree on one thing. That the currency that we hold will regain value one day.
Ooh, my space is limited, brother.
Well, you better do something about your spaces.
I know. That's why I'm uploading to the cloud. Okay. So, let me see if I can find that question. We talked about news sources. You said that. Mm-hmm. So when the RVRI happens, mm-hmm. how does an investor exchange their dinar?
They find first an institution such as a bank or a brokerage firm that deals in international currency, and they go down there and they exchange it for USD in the United States or whatever country you're applicable. And you go make an exchange and you try to argue about what's called the spread, what they're paying for it against what you're trading in, and say, hey, look, I've got 100,000 right now. But if I come back in a day or so, I'll have $1 million or $2 million. You want to negotiate the spread. And that's how you're going to get super wealthy off this.
Mr. Brando calls it a spread, but it's bank fees. So when I called Chase recently to purchase the Vietnamese dong, if you check the internet, Forex, what have you, for the current exchange rate of the Vietnamese dong versus the US dollar, the bank is going to manipulate that rate to embed their fee, or as Mr. Brando calls it, spread into that. So, for example, I believe dong is going for 1 million Vietnamese dong, right? Mm-hmm. For about $56, right?
At the bank.
Not at the bank, but if you look online.
Well, that's what they tell you, but when you go to the bank, it's about that.
No.
But when you go to like Exchange of America, it's not that. It's like $70.
Well, let me back it up.
Okay.
So if you look at Forex, it's going to be about $56 for 1 million, right? Okay. You go to the bank, that same 1 million is going to equate about to $80. Why? Because they include their fees in that. So they embed their fees, which drive up the rate. It's going to be slightly different. It's always good to know what the current rate truly is. Look at Forex, Google it, and say whatever currency to US dollar, right? And then that'll let you know. But remember, when you walk into a bank, that's what they do. Last question, Mr. Brando. Mm-hmm. I got IQD. Mm-hmm. Iraqi Dinar. The reinstatement happens. The reevaluation happens. Mm-hmm. Where do I go?
Whoever gives you the best GMROI against the spread.
What's a GMROI?
The gross margin on your investment. So if I go into a bank, like let's say Bank of America, and they're offering, I don't know what the fees could be, but let's just say the fees are 10%. So if I trade $1 million, I'm really going to get back 900,000. But if I go to Wells Fargo and they're telling me, well, look, I'll give you 950,000. And I go to, like, let's say, Baklava Bank, I don't know, and they're giving me 975. I'm going to go with Baklava because they're giving me the less fees of the spread against my money. Right. Now, my whole thought process is it's not so much where you go, it's where it's available to go. And you can only probably find that on Forex, the CBI website, but more so than that, if it's international and they trade internationally, there's only one of about 3 banks you can go to: Chase, Bank of America, and Wells Fargo. And wherever you get the best spread or the best day, that's where you need to go.
Okay. Well, I want to thank Mr. Brando for his time and his wisdom. You can follow Mr. Brando at www.youtube.com/Mr. Brando. His show airs Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Go to his channel, like, comment, subscribe, and make sure you hit the bell because he's posting in that community tab every Monday, every Wednesday, every Friday. And it'll let you know when he posts because he has some really interesting things, very pressing things to tell you guys and inform you on the Iraqi dinar.
And can I say this last thing before I get off?
Please.
When I got involved in this, there was nobody out there that I could go out there and ask questions to or watch videos about. Now there is. So just give Mr. Brando a chance. You may be surprised. You may not like it, but at least give it a chance. And if you do like it, do exactly what we just told you. Like, subscribe, hit the bell. And if you don't like it, you know, hit the thumbs down. Whatever. But either way, at least you give yourself a chance to make a little money.
All right. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And hit the bell notification on April Bebee. And we'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye.